Namaste everyone. Thank you for joining in this video. So today I just wanted to speak a bit on depression and what is the relationship of the planet Saturn with depression. Okay, but before that, before we get into the topic of it, let's try to understand why depression happens. Okay, depression happens because of our inability to accept what is. Okay, the inability to see the perfection in all the things that are going around us, the inability to understand that there is a higher power who knows to operate this world better than you know any one of us living on this planet. Okay, so before we get into depression and how and the relationship of Saturn with depression, please subscribe to the channel, share the content if you find it useful, and if you want a consultation regarding your chart, you can always reach out to me at the given number in the description box. Okay, now Saturn in astrology, it represents sickness, obstacles, and difficulties. Okay, and the planets, they mainly impact the psychology. Okay, our psychology, that is. And Saturn, it it impacts the psychology by making us perceive life as one which is filled with all sorts of obstacles. Okay, that is the psychological impact. All right, now apart from that, Saturn is also a spiritual teacher, because Saturn is regarded as the karaka for spirituality. And why has Parashara attributed Saturn as the karaka for spirituality? It is because the vicissitudes of life, they carry deep lessons which are very necessary for our growth. Okay, so although Saturn creates difficulties and obstacles, it also develops in us the qualities of humility, perseverance, and most importantly, patience. Okay, so we have all heard about the cliche that good things come to those who wait. Okay, and Saturn is the personification of that cliche. Okay, now if the qualities of humility, patience, and perseverance are not sufficiently manifested in a particular person, then he or she can get into a state of depression. Okay, and for that, most astrologers, they call Saturn as responsible. Yes, certain specific positions of Saturn, for example, Saturn in the nakshatra of the moon, or Saturn and moon being very close to each other, these conditions are held responsible for creating depression in people. Okay, but what you need to understand is depression is actually a selfish reaction, okay, to difficulty or resistance from outside, when someone fails to realize one's desires. Okay, and the reason why you fail to realize one's desire is because you are not skilled enough. Okay, if you look at all the times where you have not been able to get something that you have desired, it is because you don't have the necessary skills to get that desire, right? If you have, say, you have wanted to travel to a particular country or a particular location, and then you did not have the money to do that, it's not because life is unfair, or because Saturn did not want you to travel to that place. It's because you did not have the skills to go to that place. So that is what Saturn is telling you. Saturn is the foundation, right? Saturn represents the foundation of our lives, and once you get skilled in something, Saturn actually starts giving you good results. Okay, so as long as you don't have the acceptance of various financially uncomfortable living conditions, and at the same time, if you are very much attached to your desires and expectations of the future, without having the skills to realize those expectations, then Saturnine depression can hit you at any moment. Okay, and people blame poor Saturn for anything and everything wrong that goes on in their life, but what Saturn does is that it keeps on reminding us that life develops according to the harmonious law of the universe, and that law is to serve. Okay, and this is the mudra for serving. It is known as the Mruga mudra. Okay, this is the mudra for serving. Okay, so Saturn reminds us that, you know, life has the ability to develop only when we serve, and we can serve only when we are skilled. Okay, so, you know, you have to become skilled. You have to develop skills in yourself. You have to serve. Okay, only then you'll be able to achieve your desires. Otherwise, you can crave for anything. Okay, you can crave for anything. You can cry about anything. You can cry about everything. But unless and until you decide to get skilled, and you decide to use those skills for serving others, then, you know, life is not going to work for you. Okay, life is not going to work for you. All right. So, you know, depression is a very childish state of consciousness in which a person is offended by the world. It's the ego that actually causes depression. Okay, and depression is accompanied by dissatisfaction, you know, self-pity, and a lack of strength. Okay, and it plunges the consciousness into a very narrow and selfish way of being. Okay, and you know, it makes you cut off from from the feelings of happiness, from the feelings of satisfaction. Okay, and once you allow depression to enter in your psychology, in your consciousness, you can actually start, you know, to sink deeper and deeper into it. And then you must have heard many depressed people justifying themselves and saying, you know, I need this, I want to be in this state. It becomes a sort of addiction. Okay, and once it becomes an addiction, it actually acts, it becomes very destructive on a person, and it deprives him of strength and health. Okay, so you should not allow depression to take over. You know, you need to create a clear attitude for yourself, and you should always take measures to eliminate depression. Okay, now what to do when depression comes? Yes, number one, you must try to take a deep look at what is going wrong. You must try to have an objective, objective approach on what desire is not getting fulfilled for which you are getting depressed. Yes, do you have the necessary skills to fulfill that desire? Do you have the necessary attitude to fulfill that desire? Okay, so you must remember that the reason for depression always lies in a selfish thought that things are not going the way I want. I cannot get what I need. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go or what to do. Everything is very difficult. I don't have the strength for it. So these are the selfish thoughts that can actually lead to depression. Okay, and these thoughts, they arise from the fact that you are in a very limited state of your consciousness. Okay, and you need to rise quickly as possible. Okay, with a lot of faith. Okay, and with a lot of desire to learn something new. Okay, because learning is something that everyone is afraid of. New things is something that everyone is afraid of. And this is something that we picked up as a child. We were always afraid to learn something new because, as a society, we have been taught that failure is bad. Okay, and when you learn something new, you are obviously going to fail. So you have to understand that failure is is very, very essential when it comes to achieving your desires. You may not achieve your desires in the first go. So what it means is you should not give up. Okay, people often told you that failure is the pillar of success, or failure is the step of success, but from failure comes learning. Okay, and when you learn something, only then you succeed. Okay, and my Guruji says that you can succeed only when you have failed in all the ways, and you cannot fail further. All right, so you have to stop focusing on the negatives. Okay, you have to if you allow yourself to think that there is only negativity, then you shut yourself down, or you shut yourself away, or you shun yourself away from the light of consciousness that is always present inside and outside of us every moment. Okay, so you have to stop focusing on the negative parts of life. Okay, you need to look at those things which are working. Okay, it's like having a white kurta with little black spot, but all you are focusing is on the black spot and missing the entire white kurta. Okay, so this is something that people do with their daily lives. They only focus on the black spots without without realizing that the entire kurta is white. They can easily shift their focus to the white parts of that kurta, the shirt that you are wearing. Okay, so try to bring a shift in that vision. try to bring a shift in that consciousness, and it is going to work for you. Okay. And then, you need to turn to the light that is within your heart. That means you need to listen to the voice of consciousness. And this is something that is available to everyone, every moment. Okay. There is a voice that is guiding us. There is a voice that is not afraid, to point out the idiocy that we have in ourselves. There is a voice that is not afraid to call us out for all the bad things that, we have done, for all the bad deeds we have done. There is a voice that always, tells the truth given any moment, at every moment. And that is the voice of the consciousness. Okay. It is the light within your heart that you need to tune into. Okay. And, if you find that difficult, then you can always go for learning authentic dhyana, authentic meditation from a, from a lineage. Okay. So that it helps you out to, to come out of that depression state that you are suffering from. Okay. And the simplest and the easiest remedy for depression is to use the ability of Mars, is to use the power of Mars. Okay. So, and that is physical exercise. Yes. So you cannot be depressed if you engage yourself in at least 20 minutes of physical exercise every single day. This is the easiest way to come out of depression. And then you will see that once you engage yourself in, a lot of physical activity, a lot of physical exercises, a lot of pathways open up in the brain for you. And you will see that the problem which you thought was very, very big for you to solve, or the desire that you thought was very, very big for you to achieve, now, you can easily achieve it. Why? Because the neural pathways, they have gotten unblocked because of your physical activity. Okay. So that's it from me in this video. I hope you learned something from it. And please share the content if you find it useful. Yes, please share it with your friends and family. And I'll see you soon in yet another video. Namaste. Om Gurave Namaha.